Hi, I'm Bill Donohue, President of the Catholic League. Joining me today is Mike McDonald. He's the Director of Communications at the Catholic League. Today I'm going to talk about something which is probably the most important thing that we'll have done all summer long, even though we're just in early August. We're talking here about the big event that's coming up next month, the 25th anniversary of the commemoration of that fateful day on 9/11 back in 2001. I sat here. You weren't here at the Catholic League at that time, but other people were. And we're here on 34th Street and 7th Avenue on the 34th floor. We are the Miracle on 34th Street. And that day was no miracle, though. I'll just cut to the quick. I saw the second plane hit. I didn't see the first one. And some of the people were screaming, and we watched them go down like pancakes. In any event, that's a day that it's hard for us to realize that Catholics in particular are taking this very seriously. And one of our concerns is that the mayor, Zohran Mamdani, is very, very sympathetic to the people who hate Jews and certainly Israel. He's made a number of comments himself, not secondhand, that are very, very disturbing. He seems to have a much harder time condemning what happened that day than he does about Islamophobia and people looking at somebody in an awkward way after it happened. That's an example of his priorities. But there's another element here, and that's the Catholic element.
Yeah, and Bill, you wrote a wonderful letter that people can find on our website, catholicleague.org. And I think that it is something that gets lost frequently when there was a hugely Catholic element, particularly regarding the first responders that you sort of elaborated on.
Yeah, I mean, I remember in New York City back then, 25 years ago, every night we were treated to funerals and ceremonies. They were almost all in Catholic churches. Now, New York is heavily Catholic and Jewish, and so given the tradition, particularly with the Irish, but not exclusively, of going into these areas in the police force and the fire department, you would expect that there'd be a disproportionate number of Catholics. We asked the NYPD and we asked the FDNY if they had any official data. They do not. They don't. The government doesn't keep data on religious. We just figured we'd try anyway. But we asked them their own opinion, anecdotally, from where you're sitting. What would you estimate the first responders? How many were Catholic? 85 to 90% of the first responders, they said, in their estimation, would be Catholic. Now, what I'm asking Mamdani to do is to skip the event itself, the ceremony in New York City. There's a petition out trying to stop him, and we support that, but we don't think it's going to have any effect because the people who go there that day, all the public figures, we'll have the president, we'll have the governor, everybody is going to be there. They're not allowed to speak. It's not a public forum. It's an act of witness, and that's good. Otherwise, politicians, I don't know, Republican, Democrat, wouldn't make any difference. Some of them will exploit this to make for their own political capital. But our concern is this: Mamdani is not a person who's proud to be an American. He's made that very, very clear. I've written about it, and so many other people. And the idea that 25 years later we'd have somebody there like him as the mayor of New York, he should really skip it. After all, he has set precedent. He's not big on veterans. That's why he didn't march with the veterans as mayor-elect last year
Right.
on Veterans Day. He didn't march with Jews on the Israeli Day Parade. So, where he feels uncomfortable, then he shouldn't be there. And that's it. But we also looked at a lot of the people in his family and his friends.
Right, and they've made a lot of comments, like his father particularly compared the United States response to 9/11 and said that they were morally equivalent to the actual attack itself. Mamdani, as you mentioned, he was very concerned. His teacher took him aside and told him that he was going to be bullied because something happened. Well, as you point out, he couldn't say what that something was. So his immediate family, a lot of things going on there that you document well. But then looking at his political bedfellows, they're even crazier. He's campaigned with Hassan Piker, the crazy DSA streaming guy.
He said that we deserve 9/11.
9/11.
That's what he said. He said we deserve 9/11. That's one of Mamdani's friends.
That's his bedfellow. They raise
Yeah.
money. They campaign
Right.
together. There a lot of bad things going there. The candidates that he's endorsed, he's got the one that boasted about wiping her hand on the American flag. But then in the
And she
state
wants to
Senate,
eradicate Western civilization.
she wants to eradicate Western civilization. But in the state Senate, he's endorsed a candidate that downplays 9/11, is more concerned about, again, the Islamophobia, the bullying. He's got people on staff, the same concern. And no one should be bullied, right? I agree with that no one should be bullied. But bullying doesn't compare to the loss of life on 9/11. And it was a result of radical extreme Islamic terrorists. It's simple enough to say. Just say it.
Well, like you mentioned, his dad, his father is a Marxist. Okay, so the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. His mother hates Israel. She's made that very, very clear. She's a filmmaker, extremely wealthy woman, and for a guy who's concerned about the rich people, maybe he can begin at home. And his wife, she consorts with a lot of these Islamists, the radical Muslim extremists. So it's embedded within the family itself. But the people whom he hires to work with him on his transition team, the inaugural staff, the people working in his administration right now, they've been very vocal, as you point out, Mike, with their hatred toward Jews and toward Israel in supporting the radical Palestinian cause. Where this is going to wind up, I don't know, but I can say one thing, that he doesn't belong there with these other people. They just disinvited him practically from a funeral just here in New York last week because a brave woman lost her life. She was there for the United States, and it's Ozone Park, which is an area of Queens in New York. Not a very wealthy area, but some very strong, patriotic Americans, very diverse ethnically, and he wanted to speak, but they didn't allow him to speak. That's yeah. People who have a problem saying anything good about America then really don't belong at these kinds of events. The man is a disgrace to New York and to the country, and if he had any decency, he would skip the event altogether.
That's right, Bill.
Thank you so much.